Yeah, I
All right.
started going back to serious intermittent fasting in the past few days, and today I
Right.
figured I would
You were
be out.
alive.
I would be out from work at like 8:30, which ended up being 10:30, and I had not eaten since like 1:30 last night.
Hmm.
I was getting angry, or hangry, as we say.
Hangry.
Dang.
I was getting a little hangry.
I cooked bacon for you to eat, and then I forgot to eat
Bacon
some.
for me.
That's nice.
I needed it. It rejuvenated me. It was like Goku eating one of those Zenzu bean, right?
Sensu
Yeah.
beans.
Sensu bean, right?
Yeah.
I'm just looking over at him with his fucking Super Saiyan shirt on.
Jeez.
It's Friday. It's Friday the 13th, and I can't breathe.
That's supposed to mean something deeper.
I don't know.
Oh.
Use your imagination.
It's Friday the 13th, and I'm gonna eat your soul.
Wow, that's good.
Oh, wow.
It sounded like the tiger that's made out of sand at the beginning of Aladdin.
Yeah, it sounds like
I always thought it sounded like the villain from.
Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
That's
his
really
name?
good.
I'm
Doctor-
gonna get you, Gadget.
What's
Yeah, that's really good.
what's his name?
It's Mad Cats.
It's
No,
like
that-
Officer
Mad
Evil or something.
Can we do Officer Evil?
Yeah, we're gonna blow this place up. See.
Yeah, he's like he's Mr. Forearm. He's just like an arm
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
No, I'm.
Did
Dr. Claw.
Yeah.
Claw.
Did
What's his
anybody see him at the end? Did they reveal who he was at the end of the series?
I don't think you ever saw his face or anything.
And it
Yeah.
was a baby.
There was
just
one
a
time it
baby
turned
with a
around, it was
glove.
just his glove, but that was it.
Yeah, it's always just a glove. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so we could do some awesome videos of just taking clips of that and having you say something.
Yeah, I'll say anything you want.
Do that. Yeah, that'd be really good.
Doctor.
gonna rape your babies.
Yeah. Yeah. something
Or
like
what's
that.
up? Dr. Claw's full name is George Claw. It's not as good that way. I understand
George
why
Claw?
he goes
Jorge
by
Claw.
Dr. Claw. Irving Bolognius Claw Jr. What's
Is
his
that like
damn
his
cat's
son?
name? Does anybody remember his?
Heathcliff.
Heathcliff.
That's a different cat. Personality. Well, I'm gonna find out what the Dr. Claw cat.
Well,
Dr. Claw's cat. Yes.
It's Mad Cat. It's
Mad
exactly
Cat.
Mad Cat.
what somebody said earlier.
Yeah.
Mad Cats was a once famous.
Awesome show of two
No,
cats
I was gonna
in
say
planes battling.
a company that made game peripherals.
Oh,
They
yeah,
made
that too.
Controllers and shit, and they went out of business. Like,
Oh, yeah. They had the worst controllers.
yeah, they always broke. There's a reason they went out of business.
I just hate the way they felt in my hand. They always went as far as possible from the original design. I mean, I know they couldn't just, copy the actual, like the original, but they always went way too different. Way too different.
I had one and it had an option where you can put a macro into it.
A macro, what does that mean?
Like you can put like a series of buttons
Mhm.
into one button. You can just hit it.
Yeah, it's like-
Oh,
You
Yeah.
have to do a certain thing. Like,
wow.
Hit one button to do a dragon punch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could help your fighting game.
Yeah,
That
also-
like you put
help you
combos,
cheat.
combos
Yeah,
into
that's
one.
just cheating.
Combo breaker. Right?
That's what you do, right? Put combos. That's
Uh-huh.
what that
Yeah.
means.
Yeah, that's what it's for, yeah. I had everybody had the ones with the turbo switch on it, but did anybody ever find a use for that turbo switch?
I used to use it in Street Fighter when I was a kid.
It just made it faster, right? Just
Yeah, you just hold the button down and you would just have light punches as quick as you could do it.
yeah.
Yeah. I would use it on Mortal Kombat, on the first Mortal Kombat, on the Test Your Might. Remember that? Whenever you had to tap the button really fast to build up strength and then chop the block, you
Yeah,
just turn
yeah.
on the turbo and then just hold the button down. Pow.
Wait a minute, that controller was awesome. I don't know. We
I
miss
take
you.
it all back.
We miss you.
Come on back.
I'm gonna eat your soul.
Welcome to Rural Salt. My name is Nathan Eckel. I'm drinking a Diet Pepsi with gin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My Pepsi can has Ray Charles on it.
So does mine.
He looks so fucking happy.
Why is he on this?
He looks so happy.
He's You got the right one, baby.
Looking up at nothing in the sky.
Why is he on it?
Looking
What is
happy.
going on?
It's
Why
like
not?
they're-
He's the spokesman for Diet Pepsi.
Like the
Face.
retro, they're doing their retro summer design with the old Pepsi logo,
Yeah.
and these have Ray Charles. We figured out the whole box has Ray Charles, but some have Michael Jackson.
Does it have him with his hair burned off?
Yeah, they put the hair burned off Michael. Yeah, they put his nose off. That Michael
Oh.
Jackson, no nose, and other ones have Britney Spears for some reason.
See,
We still
I
don't
don't
understand.
know. I've had at least 4 or 5 cans out of that thing, and every
Yeah, it's
one
all-
of them
we got-
had Ray Charles.
Yeah, we got a Ray Charles.
I
Oh,
would
yeah.
rather Ray Charles, like the image of him shooting up heroin, and Michael Jackson laying in a bed taking his whatever it's called, the anesthesia shit that he would get injected with.
Yeah,
Uh,
the horse shit. That
yeah.
they used to take.
horse tranquilizers or some
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I
And
can't remember.
Britney Spears, I don't know. I guess her kids being taken away from her, that image would be great.
Yes. Image of her plastic surgery.
Yes, that too.
Surgery.
That could work.
Becca Penland,
Hello.
how's it going?
It's good. It's great.
Good.
Except for that my dog had a stroke last night.
Gosh.
Well, fuck
Dang.
Oh, again.
Found
Wait,
her-
Not
what-
here
Hey,
30
I-
seconds.
Hey, I think YouTube delay is not nearly as much as Facebook.
Oh,
No.
really?
Yeah, that was way closer.
Can we just get Gary or Jerry back?
God, for 1 week.
So sorry. I mean, Gary
Can we get-
Redacted. That's his new name, Gary Redacted.
my
Hey, speaking of Gary, wait a minute. We gotta hear a dog stroke.
Oh
story.
yeah. Bring this shit back the fuck
Yeah, we
down.
need to come back down before we hear it from Gary.
Tell us this very sad story.
All right, everybody gather around. So in our picture, our verbal assault picture, there is a
Made by yours truly.
made by Nathan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
starring us. In the bottom middle, there is a beautiful little representation of a dog
A
named
representation is a good representation of what that is. It's like if you don't know what it is, it might look like a black splotch.
but it's a dog and it's Gypsy. And last night, out of nowhere, I'm sitting in the living room and Gypsy starts freaking out. She's in the kitchen. She starts running through the living room and she's like not using her front legs. Her back legs are in her front somehow. Like she's hunched completely underneath herself and she's running on her back legs.
Mhm.
And then she goes head first into the entertainment center, bonks her head super hard, and then just falls over. And I picked her up and I laid her on her bed, or tried to, and she peed on me. And then she had like half her body on the bed and half her body on the ground, and one leg was sticking out this way and one leg was sticking out another way. And
It was the saddest, most pathetic picture I've ever seen. She
Yeah.
sent me.
I sent the
Like,
picture to Nathan. I
God.
said, I think there's something wrong with
and I have
her.
a heart of stone.
Yeah. It was so heartbreaking. And so I just started petting her because I didn't know what to do, and she was like looking at the heavens, and she was you could tell that she could not
Do all dogs go to heaven?
she was not registering me near her. She wasn't registering anything.
Yeah.
And she was just like howling this like raspy, breathy whine. And I just pet her, and it was about 20 minutes or so until she kind of snapped out of that a little bit and adjusted herself into a normal laying position. And now she's just fucking fine.
You
Now
didn't have
she's
to
just
like
bopping
take her to the
around.
vet or anything?
I didn't because I read a lot on Google about what it could have been and decided that it was a stroke and watched some videos on YouTube of other dogs having strokes and it looked exactly the same.
Could she have, while out in the yard, accidentally eaten a psychedelic mushroom?
No.
Are you sure
about this?
Positive.
What?
Sounds like she was seeing shit.
No, you didn't see how weirdly distorted her body was. That was the thing. Yeah. And that she just she had no coordination and fell over. Well, she's okay now.
So if a dog has a stroke, is there even any point in taking him to the vet? Is there anything they could even do? Is it or just verify? Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, well, apparently it's a fairly common thing to have in older dogs, and there was like a couple of specific breeds that it was more prevalent in, and it was like herding dogs, and Gypsy's part border collie, so she's in that group, I guess. But the general consensus from the hundreds of articles and blogs and stuff that I read was maybe not hundreds. I might not have read hundreds. I read a lot though. You take them to the vet, they can help you figure out how to see it coming in a way, I guess. But the general thing was just help them
steer them away from the entertainment center.
Yeah,
no,
steer
not
away.
the PS4.
Does that mean if like, because you can could you get Gypsy an emotional support animal?
I was gonna say there are dogs that can smell an oncoming stroke.
Couldn't you have another animal like that would be able to smell the oncoming stroke and then notify you that
maybe a maybe a younger dog that maybe
or
okay.
Yeah.
We can get you a little monkey
with a little orange vest on it.
Oh
Yeah.
God!
Is my support gecko.
And I'll need that support too to pick up all of the pieces of me when Gypsy.
What about
dies.
a python?
Exactly.
What about a support python?
What about a
Ooh.
support python?
Yeah,
it can wrap you up.
because it would just raise its head up and you go, okay, something's happening.
Is a python a constrictor?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's perfect because it's like a straight jacket. It can the what do you call those things that you put on dogs when fireworks and the cuddle
anxiety blanket.
cuddle shirt.
This. That's
Cuddle
a thing.
shirt.
Cuddles.
They feel constricted. They feel safer. So that's what the python will do for me. We've settled on a python,
Okay.
a stroke python for Gypsy.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Well, that's the end of the sad story.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Do well,
thanks
Jibbo.
Okay.
Patrick Everett, you have any recent strokes in your life?
No.
Oh, that's good.
No, I
That's
haven't.
good.
Yeah. No, I've only had a dog that had seizures and
Oh.
cancer.
Holy seizures and cancer.
Yes, and they had to remove its lower jaw.
I thought you said
You remember
cancer
that? Yeah.
seizures. Like,
Yeah.
Yep. Each time you get a new cancer cell, you get seizures.
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of seizures.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
No.
I mean, talk about seize the day.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I miss those jokes.
No, you don't.
But yes, the dog I had did have seizures and had cancer in his jaw. And then eventually we put it down.
I'm
amount
not
of
talking
seizures.
about my sad dog story.
Well, we've had
This is
Dave,
too
Enough.
much.
Dave has too many sad animal stories. We can't
Yeah.
hear all those.
Dave came back looking youthful. He's got his hat backwards.
Well, it's because I
Yes.
keep hitting this mic.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Somebody has messed with its arrangement.
Somebody did.
Who?
I mean, I don't know, but it's not right. I just normally sit down and everything's where it needs to be, but it's not. Somebody of a different stature has been using this mic.
They a much shorter stature.
Certainly not as, more diminutive,
Yeah.
feminine.
So, Dave 70, you're back
I'm back.
to the podcast.
I'm
after
here.
3 long weeks.
Long indeed.
And how's it been being gone?
It's been different.
Has it been painful?
I've missed my
Have you
folks.
missed us?
Yeah.
That's nice.
I guess it's a good thing that Jerry wasn't available this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let's hear from old Gary.
Old Gary, old Gare Bear. All right, let's see where we at.
Is it Gary or Jeremy or
Jerry.
All right, here we go.
Hey guys, it's about time to start the podcast. Lights are out, door shut. Guess I'm getting the Dave treatment. It's cool though. Appreciate my time on there. Hope to work with you again in the future. And I guess the old saying stays true. Got the face for radio and a voice for silent film. See ya.
That's
Oh,
Yeah.
Gary.
Well, what Gary doesn't know is that this was a very long con. This whole thing was just to prank Gary.
Oh,
Made him think he was coming on the show.
permanent.
Made him
permanent
think we
seat.
were kicking Dave.
Mhm.
Had Dave call in with all these voicemails, and then we have Dave come back, and then we let Jerry just sit out there and bang on the door.
Lock the
It was
door.
in Boca.
He was in Boca. He was
Boca.
drinking margaritas.
Huh.
That's what he gets for laughing about it. You know, he wasn't in a position to laugh at Dave's misfortune. You know, he should have been laughing at that.
Yeah, we found out who he really was.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this was the plan all along, but we'll blame it on you laughing. You got the boot.
Steve Marr, Space Coast Steve, how's it going?
Cheers. Hey,
Cheers.
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 round the room.
Cheers.
Or when an elephant goes, where does that come from?
The soul.
Butthole.
It's stomach.
Earlobe.
You're trying to get us to say it's trunk, aren't you?
Is it, well, really, I was just, is it the trunk or its mouth?
I would say
Oh.
it's trunk.
Oh.
Every cartoon I ever see of an elephant making that sound, the
Its
sound
trunk turns-
waves are coming out of its trunk.
Yeah, and it turned into like a trumpet.
Yeah. What do you-
Well,
It's the trunk, yeah. See, I thought my whole life, like, well, they're just doing that in cartoons because they've got this thing and it looks like a trumpet and yeah, it's perfect. So I Googled it and apparently it does come from their nose.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, it's well,
I just thought, look, I actually looked it up because I thought that, oh, this will be interesting because it's going to turn out that it actually comes from their mouth and that'll be interesting for everyone. No, it comes from right where you think it does.
okay.
That's good.
glad you cleared that up.
That's really
There you go. That's what's going on the Space Coast.
Yeah, you should have definitely made this whole documentary about it. Like, you may have thought it came from the trunk, but let me tell you.
You're
did.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Well.
all right. So you want
Wait, how are you, Nathan?
Yeah.
now
Oh.
after Gary, oh, I'm missing you already.
Oh,
Gary.
yeah.
Missing you
Gary's
already.
the only one that ever thought to ask Nathan.
Hey, I had a busy, rough day, but I'm doing good now.
Yeah, you worked on a Friday. That's not typical.
I don't usually do that.
It's Friday the 13th, even.
13. I didn't get my Aikido fix. It makes me angry when that happens. Aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, you guys wanted to talk about that Papa John's thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Does anybody know what he actually said?
No, but I know that he was imitating Colonel
he was
Sanders.
Quoting
No,
somebody.
yeah,
Here's
That's what
the
it seemed like. Yeah.
Well, I didn't see that. No, he said Colonel Sanders said and it just bleeped it out and got away with it. But what he was doing was referencing. It was actually a phone call, or like a conference call about watching what you do say. So he was actually just saying that
So ironic.
as an example in the situation.
right.
And why is it? I want to know why it's coming out now. who was he on that phone call with that decided to snitch, or who heard it that shouldn't
Why
have?
is it such a big fucking deal if he was saying, oh, this is something, like he's saying hypothetically, this is something Colonel Sanders may have said, and this, like, given an example that this would be inappropriate if, and I'm like you guys, like every article I've read is like, oh, John Schnatter said a bad word, and they're not really going into detail on how it happened, except that, yeah, he was talking about, like, basically sensitivity and what you can't say, and then he said these words. Sounds to me like he was maybe playing along, giving an example. Yeah, I understand what not to say, or maybe joke, maybe I don't know, being lighthearted about the situation and saying, "Oh, well, Colonel Sanders got to say this," but God, it's
so ridiculous. It's like, okay, hey guys, what do you think when I say N-word? What do you think? N-word. What do you think?
I ain't gonna tell you. I can't tell you.
We all took a vote. I wanted to say the N-word just to make a point, but everybody shot me down.
You're welcome.
Thing is, it's like, if you're just saying it and you're referencing it, like if I fucking pull out a copy of Huckleberry Finn right now and start reading from it, guess what that character Jim, you know what his name actually is?
Yeah.
N-word Jim. That's his name.
Yeah.
They can't say what is that.
Yeah, there's somebody trying to edit out all that in these books.
And it is so fucking juvenile, and it is so. It's like we can't even hear it, even in a certain context of just quoting it. We can't even hear it. It's ridiculous. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think the same thing, man. I was like, oh, poor John Schnatter. Like I was like, well, he actually kind of seems like a douchey kind of guy. Like I'll never forget. I was working at a Papa John's in Nashville, and somebody came up to me with a picture of John Schnatter, like from that night, because it was the night that like the Louisville College basketball team won the national championship, and he was just shit-faced, and he's just hanging off a couple of frat boys, just like barely holding it together. I was like, it looks like he's at home with some frat boys. He's probably somewhat douchey, and then guys or people that have met him are like, yeah, he's kind of an asshole, kind of full of himself or whatever. But I read into it, like, I don't see any wrongdoing, and I know that we don't get offended as easily as everybody else, but I can't even see the thing that they got offended about. It's ridiculous.
Well,
I mean, he still owns like $300 million worth of stock in that company, and maybe
we have to feel that sorry for the guy.
Yeah.
And Papa John's is currently not planning on removing his name from their brand.
Oh yeah, fucking good. Yeah, good luck. Billions of dollars worth of changing signs.
Call it Papa Gary's.
Just go with Papa Nose.
Papa Nose.
Papa knows best.
Time to buy some PJ stock.
When I read that,
Right, yeah.
the first
That
thing
would
I
be a
thought
good time.
was, I hope Pizza Hut does something just as stupid. Give me all the money.
Mm-hmm.
Give it all to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and me.
Might
I'll
even
take some
frame
too.
somebody.
What's going on with you guys this week? I have not thought about anything today as far as what to talk about. I know Dave had something he wanted to talk about.
I've got something you guys are really going to enjoy.
Patrick, did you have anything?
No, I don't have anything this
What?
week.
I thought you did. You sent me something.
Me?
Was it you? Was it?
No.
Oh, it was Dave. Dave sent me something. Never mind.
Dave's.
Dave, you're up.
I'm up.
You're up.
David,
All right. Okay then.
Space Coast
Well,
Steve says you
Is that okay?
I have to pop out of chat because,
Oh,
On what chat?
well,
Oh, right. We're on YouTube right now.
yeah.
yeah,
Welcome to YouTube. Welcome
Yeah.
to YouTube.
maybe I can just minimize it. But I can't be in chat on the iPad because I don't remember my login.
Oh.
But it's automatic on my phone, so I can do that. But I will have this article up real quick.
So, what would 12-year-old you be proud of to find out that adult you does, or what would they be proud of to find out about you now?
He turned his hat around backwards still.
I think he's asking all of us.
Yeah, you didn't text that earlier and give us time to
No,
think.
you're right. I know. I wasn't sure I was going to, but all this dead air. I'm like, well, better go with it.
there.
12-year-old me.
All right. So this
Well-
this is not
All right.
Y'all be thinking about this.
Y'all
Yeah,
be thinking about that. All right.
Attention to what Dave is
While
saying.
Dave's talking, just think amongst yourselves.
And anybody in the chat can chime in on that one too.
Dave, you're up. Okay, what would 12-year-old Gemma? What?
Well, I thought you'd be ready. You're usually just ready to go. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm bugging you.
All right. So we've kind of talked about this before. Universal income, universal basic income. And my pop brought this up to me in another article, and I kept cross-referencing it because I wanted to see how long this has been going. But there's actually a California town that will be the first to establish, even though it's a small portion of their population as a test, to give them $500 a month, no strings attached, spend it how you want for 18 months.
The government is giving them that.
Yes, the town, a California town, will give $500 of stipend to I believe it's like 100 residents, $500 for 18 months. So that's just the premise of it. And I mean,
is it just
2019?
Is it people that need it? I'm trying to skim through, but is it just people that need it, or is it like they're gonna, hey, you have a job already, we're gonna give you $500 a month?
Yeah, to give you
it's like 100 random people. How many people are in this town? Do we know that? Let me.
Yeah. It's not a very big town. It's like 300,000.
Okay, so it's not like this is a large portion of the population.
No, but it is the town in California. Here I say what I've always said about California. Those crazy ideas. So, so it's 80 miles east of Silicon Valley, one of the wealthiest regions in the country. But I guess this town isn't particularly wealthy, since it.
Oh, somebody is, because they're paying for that shit.
Yeah.
They are. There is somebody. So, but
it calls it the former bankrupt city.
Yeah, it used to be the America's foreclosure capital, and this same city went bankrupt in, I believe, 2012. As I see
like
here,
the city went bankrupt.
They were like, let's see if we can do that again.
Hey, we dug ourselves out of this hole. Wait a minute, it sure was nice in that hole.
I mean, I read this is I had one article that I read that my dad had sent me, and I always want to look at different articles and get so many perspectives, and it goes on and on. It's a quite lengthy story. It's been around for a while. This particular Mayor Tubbs. He's 27 years old, though.
Oh God!
I just don't see this really going well.
He's like the fucking kid running for student president or whatever. That's like,
you get $500 each month.
I'll put a Coke machine in the hallway.
Well, FDR, chicken in every pot.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the first in the country to participate in a test of universal basic income, also known as UBI. It almost sounds like a bad
STD.
Yeah. Stockton will give 100 residents $500 a month for 18 months, no strings attached. The non-traditional system for distributing wealth guarantees that citizens receive a regular sum of money. The goal is to create an income floor no one will fall beneath.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's hard to finish reading this without laughing.
Is this taxed?
I didn't read that it was.
Yeah.
The concept of universal basic income has gained traction and support from some Silicon Valley leaders. Here we go. Who's the first name? Like when you read the ingredients on an ingredients box, the first name on the ingredients is always what it's got the most of, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of musk in this.
Yeah.
So much musk in this.
He's not even. So, including Elon Musk, Richard Branson, and Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Why?
What?
It is
Okay.
seen as a way to possibly reduce poverty and safeguard against the job distribution that comes from automation. And in quotes, we should explore ideas like universal basic income to make sure that everyone has a cushion to try new ideas, says Mark Zuckerberg in a Harvard speech in 2017. So the Stockton project has its roots in Silicon Valley too. Its financial backers include Facebook co-founder Chris Hughes' organization.
Okay.
So he's throwing some money at it too, I guess. I mean, the other guys, to be fair, it didn't say that Elon Musk had given any money, but he's like, hey, yeah, it's a good idea. You should give some money. The Economic Security Project, a fund to support research and cultural engagement around universal basic income, it contributed $1 million to the Stockton initiative. So that's, 100 residents, 1 million. It's 5,000, 18 months. So
500.
Yeah, 500, but
5,000 a month. Yeah.
Yeah, or a year. It's in 10 months it's 5,000. So anyways, I don't want to read the entire article, but again, it's quite long. They have tried it in other places with a population of more than 300,000, with 1 in 4 people living in poverty. Stockton was considered a great testing ground for UBI.
So it's $900,000 for the entire duration. So that's that $1 million is all they need.
Sounds like it.
$1 million. That's all you need.
Stockton has a median household income. Everybody think about your W-2s here. Of $49,271.
Okay.
Really?
To $57,617 national.
Oh.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau estimates. It's also diverse. More than 70% of the city's population identify as minorities.
Hey, I identify as minority.
Well, you're part of that 70%.
I can just say it.
I'm a minority. I'm Canadian French.
Reason. I can just say it.
We are the 70%. We are the 70%.
I'm balding.
So the mayor, it makes some references to his childhood and the struggles that he went through, and his interest in the UBI stems from the looming threat of automation and displacement. So he believes the companies building these technologies have a responsibility to make sure people aren't adversely impacted and also make their communities better places. So because you're saving money by automating things, you have to spend money to fix what you did better. So,
all right. So it might be too it's too soon to do this. It's too soon to think anybody's going to switch to universal income, but it's just not out of the realm of possibility that one day we'll need something like this. And it could be 100 years from now, but we could very possibly automate everything where there's no menial tasks, or not even just menial, but there's no like skilled labor left to be done, or not enough to employ everybody. It's laughable to do now, but I don't consider it a terrible idea in the future. It's like wealth distribution right now is not a good idea. Pull yourselves up by your bootstraps to get a job and all that stuff. But there could come a day that no matter how much bootstrap pulling you do, there just isn't a job there for you.
It's interesting that you say it this way. My first response is, no way. This is just stupid. Everybody's money is their money. Just because, but as you say this, and I was trying to think, if we, because Nathan, when we were talking about this, he goes, we really hadn't had a good argument in a while. I thought, I wonder if we could make this a debate.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, so how would I, even though I don't believe this, how would I argue that this is a good thing? And one of my thoughts were, what if we get to the point where artificial intelligence takes care of most everything, and some people, I'm thinking about my skill set and what I can and can't do, and what I like and what I don't like, and my motivational level, and I'm sure there's a curve that I fit on that of success that somewhere some algorithm would go, you just need UBI. Why? Don't ask it. I mean, artificial intelligence would automatically decide who gets that kind of income, and if that's the case,
But that's not condemning you to a life of doing nothing. Let's say, okay, we're it's 100 years from now and everything's automated, and you fall in this category where you're going to get a stipend. Well, that could free you up to do other things. Maybe it's just like creative and artsy fartsy or something, but maybe it allows you to get an education in something,
Okay. Yeah.
That's true. It mentions that in the article that with $500 you can go back to school.
Okay, here's the thing, and I brought up this book before on the podcast. I know it's been a long time, but there's a book by Neil Stephenson called The Diamond Age. Basically, it's set in a pretty distant future where they have nanotechnology where they can basically build anything without cost. Like you can just construct anything from the atom up, whatever you want. Like the poorest person can go up to like basically a vending machine and say, I need this. I need a chair.
So it's not even like so much abundance, like we've mined the asteroids. It's like we can just create things out of
we can just build it from base materials. So whether it's food or whatever, everybody has everything they need, and it's just they have the technology to do that. And so at that point, then that kind of thing would work. But it would make a lot of miserable people, I think, because people need a purpose. They need to work toward things. They need something to do. But that would make that kind of economy make sense if you had an abundance economy where technology made it possible to where it didn't matter. But in our economy, in a capitalistic economy, having that kind of base income to like the whole idea of raising the floor, all that does is you're fucking everything up for everybody, basically.
You're killing everybody's survival instinct. I'll give you that.
It's that, and also it's the economic impact of even like raising the minimum wage to $15. Like everybody wants $15 now, or that kind of thing. Or we'll have a base income. Well, what it does is, okay, you lose your job or you quit, you have base income. Well, now you don't have the incentive to get a job. You're living off that. But at the same time, the businesses that need to still hire people have to compete with your base income. So they then have to be charging even more to pay the people that do want to work.
Yeah, like they not only have to match what your base income is, they have to sweeten the deal, make it worth your while to actually show up to work. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You're talking about basically you're devaluing the dollar and in labor.
Although in this scenario, even though I don't know that this is a great test of this system, but in this scenario, it appears like they're giving it to people that even do have jobs. So it's money on top of the money you make. So even if you went back to getting just the $500, you'd still be incentivized to get a job so that you wouldn't just be barely getting by. You wouldn't lose that $500. You would still get that and whatever you make it work.
Right.
Yeah, this thing is like a little experiment. I'm talking about like if you had this full on the whole nation, everybody gets $1,000 a month or $2,000, whatever it would be.
I still think it's a slippery slope. Don't get me wrong, and my position is no. But when I was knowing that this is what I was talking about tonight, I tried to play devil's advocate and go, okay, what
would Steve-O say?
Yeah, no. Well, think outside the box and go, okay, you're assuming that people aren't going to work. You're assuming that they're just going to take this money and sit up on the couch and do nothing. So
I know people that would.
Well, I do too. I know. And so, but it's
more people than not
to go in that way. So then I go, okay, let's say that this was just something that was there. What are the possible positive things that I would use it for? So I started going through a list. First of all, that's most of my house payment. So I could make a double house payment, which would pay my house off in half the time. And then I could take that money and do whatever with it, create a community garden, or, I mean,
You can get a car and actually
You could-
take you somewhere if you don't have one.
right? You
Yeah.
could get a car to better your life so that you could go to job, or so you'd stop spending money on the metro, or you stop spending money on, assuming that you're putting money into public transportation. Some places that's not the case, but you got to get a metro card some way, or I don't live in those places, so it does not matter to me. But what would be those things that you would take that money and use to better your life beyond what it is? And because that you'd still work. I couldn't live off of $500. Screw that.
No.
But what would $500 add to my life?
Well, yeah. There's a difference between, let's say, the $500 thing versus an actual living wage. We're going to give you enough money to live on.
Yeah, this is $500. How could you better your life
Right.
for $500?
And this is, I think this is like, it's one of those nutty, it's like the nutty people in California. Hey, we're going to do our little thing. We're going to have 100 people and we'll give out money, and they're going to go, oh, that's awesome.
We helped so many people. Oh my God, I felt so good.
But that 100 people is not going to hit the economy the way if and they're going to go, oh, look, universal basic income, it works.
Yeah.
No, but if you spread that out to everybody, then that's where the real problem is
Right.
going to.
It's a slippery slope, and this is just where it's beginning. Do you think they're really going to be able to claim success with 100 people, just like you said? No.
And
They're just somebody put seed money in for 100 people. The next go round, they're going to do it, and they'll go, okay, and they'll have more people put money in, and then they'll spread that out and go, we're going to get 10,000 people now and see what that does. So that, because we don't have enough data. This is just the beginning.
Yeah. And it's being funded, apparently. I mean,
Yes, and
$1 million covers it.
Further in that article, if you'll follow down, because I don't know where it's at, but if you'll roll it down, they're doing this in Oakland, California. They're going to give $1,000 to residents for 5 years.
Yeah. In Finland. Oh, okay. No, these are okay.
Yeah, but in other countries, it didn't work.
Did you say Oakland?
Oakland, California. Yeah.
All right, y'all just want to move there.
To Oakland?
Get an extra grand a month.
I don't think so.
Another backed by Startup Accelerator Y Combinator is the name of. Yeah, we'll give 1,000 people in Oakland, California, $1,000 a month for up to 5 years.
It's $1 million a month.
It really does seem premature. And like you're saying, like it's not even going to give them good data. Like they're not going to know anything really from this, and it's not being paid for by tax money, so you're not going to be able to see the impact on the tax, the pile of tax money. It's not coming out of that. It's coming out of something else completely, and you're giving it to just 100 random people. It's not.
I don't see it going well at all. I've seen people, they're just going to abuse it.
Well,
like,
I mean, it is real easy to think that way. And as you read through the article and you get further on down, another thing it says was, what's inspired this, and partly because I think they said guilt and optimism or something like that,
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I've watched the tech community become very interested in universal basic income for the past several years. I think it stems from one part guilt and one part optimism, Foster said. These are folks who believe in the moonshot, believe in the big ideas, and that nothing is too big. So he's building them up to like these are the saviors.
And it's kind of funny. I was watching, and I don't want to change the entire conversation to this, but you don't really know that this is going to change anything. But over in Rio, they built a tram from the favelas down to the town, and that spent some considerable amount of money to do that from the poor area to get to the town, but it was relatively, I don't know, in those dollars, it's different than our money. So it's like, 12 chickens.
It's just like it's just seashells.
So, right?
Like, conch shells.
But that tram made an actual difference to
That's
that
interesting.
community.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And that dollar value said, look, this is a physical infrastructure that brings people to and from. What other things could you spend this money on that would help the community?
Rather than just giving
them cash.
Yeah, definitely.
So if what other ways could you spend this money in that community that would directly affect them, but wouldn't put the burden of the decision upon them? I get that it's an experiment, but you're going to get bad data here. The only way to get better data is to give more money and more people.
Yeah, there's a guy, and I can't remember his name, but he talked to Scott Adams recently, and he does this urban blight project where basically he goes into like places like Detroit and inner cities where there's a lot of abandoned buildings, and he actually uses his own money and also charity, what people donate, and he just tears down the buildings, and he just flattens it out and puts grass there, and it actually reduces crime.
Oh wow.
So I was out of town, and there's actually a place.
Did you see some urban blight?
And but I didn't. There's this community there that was just a bunch of shanty homes and little things. I've never seen it, but this is the story I heard. And the government went in and just plowed all that down, and
didn't
then
even warn the people inside.
Yeah, it was a mess. But they built these really nice homes. They almost look like little village homes and whatnot. Reduced the crime way down, and they're well-lit streets, and they're all nice and manicured, and just changing that living environment reduced the crime. They're rented homes. The city owns them. It's still public housing, but it's really nice housing.
Yeah, it's something they can feel pride in, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one step below Habitat for Humanity, where you actually own the home.
Oh.
And put your sweat equity in.
Right.
Sweat equity. Becca, how do you feel about all this? Sweat equity.
I'm getting some really good material.
That means she's bored.
No, I just had to remember for a second what we were talking about. So, I'm just writing poems.
Universal basic income.
Giving people money and shit.
Okay, I know
hardworking one over here.
I know several people that are hardworking, and I think that a lot of the people I know would continue working and use the extra money to supplement what they already had. But I know way too many people.
I'm quitting.
I know
I'm out of here.
That would do the opposite, and that just eats me up. I can't.
It up with it.
I can't imagine somebody just being handed all that money, more than I already know about it happening.
Yeah.
In the community that I live in, it just burns me up. I can't imagine somebody just taking and never contributing and never learning to do anything for themselves. And
maybe
that just ain't me.
Buying PS4 with that first one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember I got my George W.
Money into the community. I mean, if you bought that at a local store,
I'm driving across town.
I like going out overseas for my PS4.
I'm ordering mine off Amazon. It's gonna ship from China. Some shit.
All right, so if we do somewhere in the future, there is a future where there are hardly any jobs. And then there is going to be an in-between phase where there's going to be this really awkward time where there are people that are going to opt for the stipend before it's really necessary, and is probably going to be a lot of arguing about, well, we shouldn't be given. It's going to be just like the welfare discussion, but it's like birthing pains. You have to roll through this painful spot because, and you know, maybe it'll go like more like The Expanse, where we're out in the solar system and there's all these jobs. There's, you know, you just got to go to other planets or go to the asteroid belt or something. But but even all that shit might be automated. So it might just be that there's nothing, but there's going to be an in-between period where factories are being shut down because they're switching over to automation and slow. It's going to be a slow progression of people, like, you know, thousands of people at a time are losing their jobs, and people are saying, well, all you got to do is go to another company, and, you know, and well, but I can't. Well, you're lying. You haven't tried hard enough. Well, you know, you're just trying to milk off the government teat. There's going to be that phase.
Yeah, I'd hate to disagree with Elon Musk. I mean, I don't. I disagree with Elon Musk because I think all of us here, I know he came up from nothing, but you know, he's a different kind of person. I just mean, what I see is that I think it's like the Jurassic Park thing. Life finds a way. I think no matter what happens, people will, there will be a way to make money. There's going to be a way in a capitalist economy. If it's free.
I don't have a vagina, Nathan.
What?
I mean, yeah, there's always going to be work for women.
Oh, people don't.
They don't care about
you
that.
can just pretend you have one.
That was so sexist. Oh my god. Dislike.
Well, it's like that idea, like, oh, the automobile's being created now. My horse and buggy business is going out. You know, it's like you go on to a new thing. That's the way it goes, and I think even if we get all this automation, there's going to be other things. I just think other shit will pop up, and then if it doesn't, then we'll have to deal with that. But like I say, if we have that kind of economy of abundance where every natural thing we can just get, then we can just create that. And some people are going to be miserable, but they'll be eating and have a roof.
Yeah, like my fear is like it would turn into like government cheese. You know, get in line every day to get a little bit of toothpaste and some butt wipe and some bread and cheese. I mean,
it's definitely
that is not the kind of future I envision.
Yeah, I think that more bad will come of it than good. And at first you won't, you know, it's like arsenic, you know, you can get away with just tasting a little bit of it, but over time, and it would just, I think it would poison the social fabric of our community. Now, here's the other side. My mind also goes for a little while, because I'm trying to play devil's advocate with myself. I go, what the hell does that say about us as a society if we go, people would just ruin it anyways?
Because that's what we do.
Right. I mean, just like all the ideas, just like something else come along, what if this idea was something that made social change actually happen? I can't even wrap my mind around that, because I guess, you know, I'm usually a more positive person. I just go, this is just bad. This is just bad. So I'm not going to promote it, but it does, you know, in devil's advocate, it kind of sucks if I don't think anybody would.
This is what I was saying. Without that technology that I was talking about, some kind of super advanced technology that basically gives us free energy and produces way more than we can even use. Without that, then it would not work. If it was just a free market, a capitalist economy, it would not work in the long run. It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It would take that kind of technology for it to work. It's either one or the other. Like, you're talking about government cheese and getting in line for this and that. That's going to slow decline into, you know, people getting their heads chopped off in the street at some point.
Yeah. Well, and then eventually you get the population down low enough that everyone can thrive.
Yeah, or you just start killing people.
Purge.
Just
purge.
Yeah.
Just beat them down until they can't take it anymore, and they just kill themselves.
You like the Running Man have game shows where people get on and just fucking get killed and shit.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
God.
Hey man, there's already it's heading that way. There's already
yeah.
I mean, reality TV, it's only going to get more and more extreme because there's some really crap reality TV shows out there.
Like
All
where
of
they
them.
murder each other.
Oh, eventually it's going to get to that point.
One day.
One day.
One day we'll have.
It's all about the ratings, man.
Yeah.
It's
It'll be
all
like
about
the
ratings.
Roman Coliseum.
Like you
on-
gotta fight for your stipend.
Yeah, it'd be so awesome, wouldn't it?
I hope I hope I'm around for that.
If
dude.
you want the stipend, you have to go into the Coliseum.
Everybody, if you make a joke like that, everybody's like, "Oh, that'd be terrible, ha ha ha." But they're thinking, "Man, I would watch the shit out of
Yeah.
this."
I'd be like, I've seen this in movies,
Gladiators
and I'm
killing each
so
other?
glad
Yeah,
I get to finally live this.
everybody would love it.
Or what if it's a reverse lottery so that everybody gets a stipend, but kind of like Hunger Games ish, or even that short story called The Lottery? Every year there's a drawing, and you know, if they pick your ping pong ball, you got to go into the pit, and
I like it.
so
Yeah.
every year there's just this random.
Oh, they should do Logan's Run.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
man, we some sick fuckers.
Yeah.
It really almost does seem impossible to go to somehow transition from the way it is now to this age of automation and artificial intelligence. How the fuck do we get there without, putting people, in a welfare type lifestyle and,
Maybe.
and the only people working are the maintenance guys, working on all the machines, and they're like, why the fuck do I have to work? All these other bitches are.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Where's
Maybe,
the sweeper bots at?
maybe we can't. Maybe what will happen is there is none of that technology I'm talking about, but we still have this automation, and every job is taken over by a robot, and then everybody gets together and with their fucking pitchforks and torches and says "fuck you," and then tears everything down. And
Fight the robot.
I was gonna say they just get their jobs back, and we decide, hey, we're not going to do this automation to this level.
Well,
Certain bridge we won't cross.
A note of optimism is that the Tesla factory was going crazy with automation, and then they determined that it was not as efficient as they thought it would be, and they had to take some of their machines out of the equation and put people back in there.
Because they did not want Terminator to happen.
Maybe
It's because they have souls and hearts. That's why.
the people, they want the heart and soul.
Add a
into the
certain
car.
thing to
Have a heart.
creation and
Yeah.
stuff. They have feelings and thoughts and emotions.
Je ne sais quoi.
Becco, what's going on? What did you have today? that you wanted to
Speaking
talk
of
about?
other notes of optimism, you ready to pull my shit up,
I'm
Steve?
done. Got it.
All right. So I saw this article that was titled FBI releases documents about Juggalo gang investigation.
Oh my god!
Back to the Juggalos.
Back to the
Holy
Juggalos.
shit! No idea.
Oh man!
No idea.
How does the song go? It's back to life, back to the Juggalos.
Man.
All right. So, reading along, a few days ago, the FBI published over 100 pages from their files that document their investigation into whether Juggalos should be classified as a gang.
Hey, was Strzok involved in this? Peter Strzok.
If I don't see it, I don't know.
Okay. Go on.
There is a lot of info that has been redacted. That's our favorite word.
Mm-hmm.
And about the first half of it is very repetitive, but you can see it for yourself. The Washington Times has broken it down and found one memo in the documents that states the Juggalos are a violent street gang whose membership follow a small niche of the rap scene known as horrorcore.
Horrorcore.
The genre is mainly associated with Detroit artist Insane Clown Posse, in case you didn't know.
ICP.
Hey, was Ned Masterhead?
Oh,
Right here.
awesome. Sidebar, I was at Walmart the other night and I saw a guy walking. You know how at the end of the aisle, there's like sometimes people will be stocking stuff. This stalker guy has two separate piles of boxes, and there's just one little pathway in between them for people to walk through with their carts. And a guy walked through with his cart and he knocked a bunch of boxes over. And he looked down at him and he didn't give a shit and he walked away. And he was wearing an ICP shirt.
That's how you know. That's how you know.
They're a violent street gang.
They are a violent street gang.
They give
knocking
no
over
shits.
fucking boxes,
So
end cap displays.
But I'm just as
Given-
bad because I didn't help pick them up. And I saw it happen.
You're juggalo deep down inside, huh?
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
The artist has spawned a host of imitators who excite crowds with musical horror stories in which murder, rape, and suicide are recurrent themes, as well as miracles.
As well as
Like magnets, yeah.
How the fuck do they work? So, I'm reading this article earlier, and I'm thinking, I can't believe that Google offered me this information. I guess it thinks that I really was following this. And then I see the name of the website that this is on, and it is fagolovers.net. I think we've been duped. I think that this was written by juggalos.
Oh.
Wait, what's the point of the whole article?
wait. It's written by Scotty D.
That sounds
That's
like a juggalo.
such a
to me.
juggalo name.
It sounds like a member of
Oh, wait.
ICP.
And they even the date on it is even listed as Friday the 13th, July 2018 by Scotty D. I think they're trying to, it's just a joke. It's gotta be.
The whole point of it is just, hey, we were investigated by the FBI and we're badass.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe.
that's what it is.
Is that the whole article?
I don't know.
basically?
I think that-
Self-aggrandizing.
You're going down a really dark hole if you're trying to rationalize the things
Oh.
they do.
Yeah, ICP tried to take the FBI to court for a discrimination lawsuit, but they already threw them the case out.
Oh.
I thought they,
Yeah,
I
the article on Washington Times is real. Just to
Yeah.
let you know, I just clicked on it, so it is a real
yeah,
article.
did they
by
not
them.
win a thing that said that they weren't a terrorist or whatever organization?
When they win appeal an FBI gang lawsuit, that was in 2015, but appeals court dismiss gang designation lawsuit against them.
Okay.
Can you imagine, like, devoting a large portion of your life to this? I really like this one band, and it's gonna alter everything about my personality. I'm only ever gonna listen to Insane Clown Posse and wear clown makeup. Or a bandana over my face.
Back there. It looks like he's Fat Albert's gang.
When you're 15, but not like
Yeah.
at some point,
Yeah, when like it's the only
A
band
lot
you've ever
people
heard
I've
of.
seen, they're like fucking 40.
I know. I
Yeah.
saw one of these
Yeah.
people. the
This
other
guy
day.
ain't 15.
This guy looked like he was like 45,
Yeah,
and he had the clown tats and all this shit. And
Yeah.
I knew what he
They
was.
all-
I knew what he was.
you can spot them about
It's-
98% of the time. You can spot
It's
they're in the
dedication.
ICP.
I want to know. I want to ask a juggalo that's been a juggalo for like 15 years or whatever. Like, are you still that into this band, or is it? I mean, if it's just the community, I guess I can kind of understand it. Like, hey, these are my bros. We go to conventions together or whatever, something like that. But to be that into this one band, hey, I really like Muse. So, well, there's not. I don't know if there's anything I could do to.
Get all their lyrics
Get some
tattooed on you.
eyeliner and
They
Or
just
like,
be
yeah.
groupies, but at some point, you stop being a groupie and you just become sad.
Becca. Do you think you could get online and interview a legit juggalo for us and ask us these questions?
Yes, I can do that. I will
Oh.
try to find a way.
I'd probably say you might be able to do it on Craigslist. Just tell them, hey, we'll just do a Skype session. That way they won't come to your house.
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm
no,
not going to
just-
talk to anyone in person.
no,
Patrick.
just message
I said
board.
so they wouldn't come to your
Yeah,
No,
just
house.
a message
I have-
board email
There's
kind
things
of thing.
like typing, like instant messaging and stuff, where you can talk to people over the
Wouldn't
internet
believe it.
rather
Could
than
be a
meeting
bot.
them in person.
Could be a
So
bot.
Could
That's-
be
Yeah.
what? You're going to answer
a
the question.
juggalo.
Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know any difference.
Jinx,
whether
you
I'm
owe me a
talking to them.
Fago.
I mean, we could. I'm pretty sure we can invite people into this Google Hangout, and
Yeah.
it would all be like we wouldn't have to do anything different.
anybody can find someone willing to do that, I would love to do it. But the
Yeah.
thing, I feel like
We'd be making fun of him the whole time.
just tearing into them though. Like we would have to be either really polite or they'd have to have some really fucking thick juggalo skin.
Do you think Brian would be willing to put on some clown makeup?
Oh,
Ryan,
man.
I need you to.
So you gave it away.
Talk-
Yeah, I shouldn't give it away. Well, hey, look, you got to listen to every episode.
Edit that out.
That really would have worked. Yeah, we could have gotten.
Nobody knows Brian.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, they never seen him.
And
Or
if we
heard
don't
him.
say his name
He
is
hasn't-
Brian here, they're not going to know we were talking about
That's
him.
right.
I
It
was
could-
just saying he hasn't put on clown makeup in a long time.
That's true.
He's a juggalo, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prepare me a
PTISD.
list of questions that you'd like to have answered.
All right.
That goes to you too, listeners. If you have any specific questions for a juggalo
Yeah, ask a
that's been a
juggalo.
juggalo for a long enough time that the answers will be relevant, just let me know. I'll
We
ask.
definitely want a middle-aged juggalo.
Okay, middle-aged juggalo. Got it. I'll
Yeah.
find one. I'll ask them questions in the nicest way possible. Maybe I'll make a new friend. We'll see.
Somebody that's been in deep for a while, you know.
And tell him, and just tell him about how much you like, just naked air guitar in your apartment.
Yes.
Nothing weird.
Somebody that knows what blue neck is all about.
Yeah, I'll try to use some of the lingo that we've learned.
Oh, and
Yeah.
sounding.
that has nothing
Make
to do
sure.
with
Oh,
juggalo.
they know all about sounding.
Oh,
Sounding
sorry.
and juggalo.
Look at this guy. Oh, you can't see him. David, I'll show you.
Who is it? Is it Strock? Who is it?
What?
There
No,
he is.
it's just a juggalo
Oh,
Well,
my
I like
God,
the guy in the back. He's my fave.
fucking
with the
creep.
bandana on his face.
Yeah, that's why he's the one that looks like he's in Fat Albert's gang.
Yeah.
Fat Albert's
Oh,
game.
guys,
Yeah.
I know some juggalos.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I do too.
They're not middle-aged though.
We all
They're
do.
young. They're young.
You all know a juggalo. Think about that.
You know what I
Are
mean?
there any ICP fans that don't consider themselves juggalos, or is
Uh,
that just like
I don't think so.
you
I think-
you're either a juggalo or you hate ICP?
Casual
Nobody,
listener.
yeah, nobody's a casual
No.
ICP fan.
I enjoy listening to him.
Yeah, it's like I'm
Oh, we have a juggalo among us.
Yeah, I'm listening to jazz and I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, maybe it's some ICP. You know?
Yeah.
What if you're listening to some kind of horrorcore like rap station on Pandora and an ICP song comes on and you don't look at your phone to see who it is. You're just bopping along to it when you're driving in your car and you find out it was ICP. Are you automatically a juggalo because you bopped, or do you?
I think if you're listening to the
Because
you're
horrorcore
the
thing,
one that
you
bops.
you are already into ICP.
And there's not so much. Is there bopping involved in ICP?
I don't know, Dave. Is there?
I don't know.
That's one of the questions for the middle-aged juggalo.
I've
Is there
seen-
bopping involved?
Is there bopping?
I've
Yeah.
seen Becca bop to NWA, so it is a thing.
I'll bop to anything. Give me a beat. I'll
I
bop.
want to bop you with you, baby. To
I'll do the
ICP.
man overbite.
I wish people could hear how funny that was. They couldn't.
No.
I want to answer Steve-O's question.
Okay.
I want to talk about what my 12-year-old self would be. I want to hear y'all's answers, actually.
Well, I'm pretty sure whenever I was 12, I wanted to be a NASCAR driver.
You're
So,
almost there.
all I'd have to say is like, you're a professional driver,
It's true.
and then it'd be like, really? Like, yeah, but I don't want to say too much because then you might alter history, and but
Oh, so it's that kind of
you
thing.
you
All right.
do drive for a living. Well, it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't have to be. There's no hard rules here. Okay.
What's the question again, Steve-O?
Is what is if you met your 12-year-old self, what would they be proud of, to know about you as an adult? Or what would they be glad to, it doesn't have to be like, oh, my adult self, I'm so proud. Like, what would they be glad to know about, to learn about you, adult you?
I feel like 12-year-olds don't really think that way. They just exist.
I think that's why it's a good example, because you have these ideas of what adulthood would be like, and you really don't have a clue. but you'd be. It's like a 16-year-old would have like expectations, or or
I feel like my 12-year-old self would be happy that I am not nearly as chubby as I was when I was 12.
there you go. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm in better shape.
I'm trying to think of what was going on with me when I was 12. I was still living in Indiana, so it was. What did
Very
I care
flat.
about?
Things were.
I'd be proud that I don't live in Indiana anymore.
I wonder if I'd be pissed off that I live in Florida again. Like, what?
You promised me you wouldn't come back.
I don't think I really made that decision, like that I would never live in Florida again until I was like 16, though. Until I'd moved to Tennessee.
Would your 12-year-old self be happy or sad that you're not quite the destructive psycho that you were when you were 12?
I don't recall me being a destructive psycho.
You had a destructive friend.
Howling around with destructive psychos.
Oh yeah. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I think 12-year.
You're boring. It would be like,
Be amazed
you're so
that-
boring. You have a garden? What?
Never got arrested. I think 12-year me would be amazed at that.
You play video games in the bathtub?
That's fucking awesome.
And your mom lets you?
Oh gosh, I guess I would be impressed that I was still married. Because I think
At 12?
me because all my friends' parents were all divorced.
Oh.
Yeah, and they were all so I think that seemed to be rare at 12. But it's really hard to put myself there. And I keep looking at the ceiling, but there's nothing that
Yeah,
keeps
nothing
popping up there.
Nothing
Yeah.
there.
I mean, I'm staring up
What?
there and there's no words.
I wonder how old I was.
You're wise.
Yeah.
Would your
Yeah,
12-year-old
you would
self?
When you were, yeah.
Every time when I'm in Aikido class and people are trying to figure something out and they look up like that, since he's like, there are no answers up there.
But he says it with a quiet smirk that makes you feel like it's okay that you did that, and I still respect you, but I am softly correcting you now.
Yeah, it's
Don't do
somebody
it
in
again.
life trying to stab you, you can't look up at the ceiling.
I'm gonna get away from this now.
The answers are not in the stars.
My 12-year-old self would be proud that I have my own car. I can drive wherever I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed. Like, really? I got my own car?
'Cause,
Excellent.
I mean, you're young. You like, not a lot's going to like.
Impressive.
Pretty much everything's going to. Your 12-year-old self's going to be proud of
I can
because they weren't able to do any
I can
of
go
that.
to Taco Bell anytime I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean
When
you
I
could
first
drink?
started driving when I got my license,
Yeah.
that was the most exciting thing.
Yeah,
I could fucking drive to Taco Bell right now.
exactly.
By 12 tacos.
Is that still as exciting for you?
If I let myself, yeah. If I allow myself to Taco Bell, it would be.
Going to Taco Bell.
I think 12-year-old me would have been really like entranced by the fact that I auditioned for American Idol. I think 12-year-old me would have been in awe of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But-
That would be. Was American Idol a thing?
I think
It doesn't
so.
really matter, but
I think it was at that point. I feel
has it
like
been around that long.
my sister was really into Clay Aiken, and she had to have been. I can't rationalize this with age. I'd have to look and see when
It's
American
been
Idol
around
came
a
out.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be proud that I make money. Like everything. I don't want to answer the
I'd be
simple.
proud I live on the beach.
I'd
Even
be
though it is
proud
Florida.
that I finally listened to my head when I would be at church when I was a kid and not feel what everybody else was feeling.
Yeah.
I'd be glad that adult me, finally
I'd be
like took
proud
that
that I hated
plunge
Jesus.
and stopped going and stopped believing. I'd be
Yeah.
proud of myself for that. Stop trying to believe, I should say.
Yeah.
Just hating Jesus over there. God bless
I'd be
her.
proud of how much information.
Bless her heart.
Inflammation.
Information,
How
y'all.
much information I've given people about juggalos. I've said enough.
Said enough. I don't think you have said enough.
Oh, you're about to say something else, ain't she?
Yeah, I think I am. I think I see some words on paper.
You've been bored enough.
Okay.
What was your juggalo name? Your juggalette name?
Cotton candy with
Cotton-
2Ks.
Cotton candy.
That's the whole name. Cotton candy,
Cotton
with,
candy
two,
with two
two
Ks.
I
Ks.
can't believe you forgot. I have it tattooed on the side of my neck.
That's why you always keep your hair down.
What was mine?
Oh God.
The only one I remember is Dave's Ned Master. It's the only one I remember.
Who were we all?
I forgot mine. I
didn't.
erased
Mine
that out of my
wasn't so
brain.
great.
I want to say mine had something to do with Jester.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Jester of some sort.
We'll have to do it again. We have to go to the website and do it again.
All right.
Will it be the same? I don't remember the criteria to figure out your name. Is it?
I'm sure
It's not changing. Like it doesn't change.
It was just a random generator, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get to cycle through them and
I
find
thought
out.
you wrote them all down.
I think I did somewhere actually, but we'll have to dig into that another time because right now I have a poem to read.
Have a poem.
Wendell.
Stroke Gecko. Retro design, the image burned into my brain. Basic universal portions and everything where it's supposed to be. I tried to explore as organization was never my interest. Technology to fix what went wrong and machines to fix the technology. The impact inspired change for the worse. Several years of guilt poisoned me, condemning me to a life of remembering what I couldn't do.
Oof.
Can you imagine?
Oh man.
There's no hope in that poem.
That's trench deep.
Thanks, Elon. No hope in that poem.
Where did the snapping come from? What does that come from? I know it's a thing you do after poems, but I don't know why.
You just did it one day.
Yeah, we just did
do you
it.
mean like
I thought it was is it a thing or is it just something that?
No, people do that with like beat poetry. That bullshit.
like coffee houses and shit?
Yeah, it's super obnoxious.
We did it
Instead
the
of
very
clapping.
first- The
You know
very
what-
first poem we did it.
You know who else does it? Feminists do it. They'll do the snapping because hand clapping is like a rape trigger.
Oh my god!
Ah!
Trigger.
It-
Rape.
I can't tell.
Oh, okay.
So it-
I can't tell if is that a joke?
No, I'm serious. I'm totally serious.
Yes.
I mean, it's a joke, but I'm serious.
I mean, it's a joke, but yeah.
I'm serious.
Oh my god.
I have seen.
I mean, I understand it. I'm thinking. Okay, I guess I can understand it, but
I've seen heartfelt speeches at colleges against the patriarchy where hundreds of kids clap. I mean, snap their fingers at the end.
What is that supposed to remind? Is it like it gives you flashbacks of somebody's
it's
ass
like
smacking
PT.
into you?
Yeah, it's like
pounding.
PTSD.
It's like they don't
And
want to
Oh
get.
it's
my
a trigger.
God, I need to get a life already. That is the dumbest
yeah.
shit I've ever heard.
So when there's a large crowd of people clapping, it's just 1,000 rapes. It's just happening.
Very quickly too.
What do they do in any other setting where clapping takes place?
Just like,
I have to leave.
where's closet?
Why do they have to take everything?
They took clapping.
Took clapping.
So they never have.
Becca
it.
has nothing now.
God damn it.
That's right. When you get on that American Idol and you do so well, they go clap.
Well, thank you, Haywood Banks, for the team song.
Thank you.
Thank you. He's been posting more on Twitter lately.
Yes.
Oh,
He's a
man.
funny man. I enjoy his tweets.
We should be posting on Twitter more often.
We should, yeah.
Really
Did you
should.
say we should be posting on Twitter Muffin? That's what it
Yes,
sounds
Twitter
like.
Muffin. Yes, it's a new
Yeah.
website.
Twitter muffin. Hey, Twitter muffin.
Support us on Patreon and subscribe to us on iTunes and leave a 5-star review. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, that Patreon address, patreon.com/
Yes. Verbal Salt.
That's the one. If if you want to leave us a voicemail like Gary Redacted did, and much like Dave did many times as he stood outside trying to get in to the studio.
Going to tow truck yards.
Just give us a call. Just let it ring till it goes to voicemail. That phone number is 865-316-6955.
Dave, please, after Gary just screwed it up so many times.
865 316 69 and 55.
I wish everybody could see Dave's face.
That's the one. And if you haven't done it already, make sure you skip on over to the YouTube page, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get a notification when we go live. We would love to have some visitors in the comments section so we can chat with you.
Oh,
That's right.
You gonna put the link to this episode on Facebook?
Yes, we will put the link to the YouTube channel on the Facebook. So, but if you want to be involved when we're doing it live, that's the way to do it. Just subscribe and hit the bell.
We're doing it live. Fuck it.
And just pay attention.
How the moon get there?
With Harry Potter love doll.
We don't know how the moon gets. Tide goes in, tide goes out. We don't know how that happens.
You know how that happens.
Yeah. It's God. God makes it happen.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
I do.